So 5 instead of 3, Lou.
This is the simplest answer ever, and you'll understand it as soon as I tell you.
Okay.
And so will everyone living in Cleveland.
All right, you're on, by the way. Just
Okay.
don't do anything. Don't flip me off like you normally do.
Here's the simple answer.
All right.
Cleveland has now the corner on short-term ineptitude, but that's not enough for them.
Yeah,
They want long-term ineptitude. So by increasing the amount of time they can go out, they can F up their team even worse than they've been able to do for the last 30 years.
That was the question I was going to ask. Does Cleveland have a pick in the next 3? With that Deshaun Watson, they traded away like 30 of them, it felt like. But yeah, Lou, that is an excellent point. I'll give Lou credit for that. There, you're right. They want to screw up their future draft picks.
Yeah, if you would have been talking NBA, I would not have been able to insert myself in this segment, but I'm sorry I had to say that.
No, you're absolutely right. From there, just why stretch it out? Don't let them do that. Just 5 years from now, you don't know where your team's going to be. What if 4 years from now you wake up and you're a first team getting up into that, and then you're like, oh, man, I wish we had those draft picks. A GM traded away 5 years ago. It's just dumb. Keep it simple. 3 should be the rule, I think. But I do like Lou's side of like perspective on that as well. So that's coming out. The other thing is, Lou, I saw you post this on social media, so I'm going to drag you back into this as well. I saw you respond to this and tag Odds Breakers on your Twitter. NFL's preparing for replacement refs to start the season here coming up. They're in a big battle right now with the union for the refs. Last time they were in this battle, they did not get it solved in time. They went replacement refs. To me, the worst possible thing the NFL can do is start the season with replacement refs. But they've been shown to do it before. What's your thoughts?
It won't stop people from watching. It won't stop players from playing. It won't stop coaches from coaching. It won't stop anything from happening. Eventually, the refs will cave in after even more response from fans is voiced after calls that are with the good group of referees.
Yeah.
Now, they do a very good job, but there's improvement to be made. You bring in a bunch of scabs and some it's gonna. Yeah. And I tweeted Odds Breakers, my friend Kiev O'Neill, who lives here in Phoenix, because he just feels the whole thing's fixed, and he's always griping. I couldn't wait to show him that quote. I think his response was, "Oh, great."
The interesting thing, because you're right. I mean, here's what they'll do, because the NFL wants certain concessions from them, and obviously the referees don't want concessions. They don't want to work more. They don't want all that stuff. They want it the way it is, and maybe some more money, right? But here's the interesting thing is, this is why it'll go into the regular season with replacement refs. Because the refs will be hoping that the replacement refs are so bad, like they were last time, that the public's going to demand the refs come back into this, which means the NFL will have to cave. The NFL's going to hope that the replacement refs are going to be good enough that we won't miss the existing refs, and then that's where the refs will have to cave, and cave on their side and come back. That's why it's going to go into the regular season. As both sides are going to bet that their side is going to perform at a level to where they're going to require the other group to have to cave.
Here's something that I don't get to say on this show enough. Steve, you're dead ass right. And you're right, because both teams hope to better their position through leverage, and both teams will have to cave because it isn't working for either of them or anyone.
That's what happened.
And so that's what'll happen.
That's what happened last time. Remember the famous ref one that I think it was Seattle game, where one ref, both watching the ball, one ref called it incomplete, the other ref called it a touchdown, and that was on top of other bad calls. And all of a sudden, next week, the real refs are back out there because the public was just outraged by these calls. And so the NFL had to cave and give the refs what they wanted to come back.
And the last snafu with the refs was how long ago? Do you happen to know that?
No, not off the top of my head, but I want to say 2018, 2019.
Yeah, so what that means is it's right when gambling was being legalized. So the outcry now with legalized gambling will be so much more voracious that I think I bet it's handled before Game 1.
Do you?
I do. I think rational business people got to figure it out.
My problem is, I'm sorry, I was way off. The last NFL referee strike was in 2012.
Okay, so that's way before
Yeah,
gambling.
right. Man, even I'm off on that. It feels like
so with gambling, you're gonna have every $11 bettor screaming and yelling when they don't call pass interference.
Yeah,
I think both sides here are setting themselves up for disappointment.
I think. See, and that's and we just learned this with the WNBA, and I'm not going to talk WNBA with you, Lou. Don't worry about that. But we just learned this with the WNBA, though. They didn't start serious negotiations until the deadline hit. And then they spent 8 straight days, long days, 12-hour days, hammering out the details before they come to a conclusion. You don't negotiate in these situations for some reason until the deadline. So they're like literally the first week of the season is when they're going to go, okay, we need to come to a deal. And then they'll go, okay, let's all just huddle into a hotel room and argue this out. You could do it now, but why? Why not wait till the deadline comes? And that seems to be where all baseball's going to do it this year, Lou. They're having preliminary talks now, but the CBA doesn't end until December. They'll have zero motivation to have a CBA deal, even serious conversations, until February of next year when pitchers and catchers start to report. Then they'll start to get a little bit more serious. And then when the season looks like it's going to be pushed back, then they'll have more serious. It's just stupid. It's a stupid game we play.
When I was being hired, this is decades ago, into commercial real estate, I asked the mentor that I had, we were out having a couple glasses of wine one night, and this guy not only was a genius real estate developer, he was also a genius Merlot drinker. And we had a few cocktails, and I said to him, okay, because he was going back to Studley in D.C. to work. I'm in Omaha. I said, so Tom, if there's one blanket bit of advice you can give me before I undertake this career in real estate, what would it be? And he was tall. He's a tall, skinny guy. He's surely a genius. He's also 100% madman. So he's half genius, half madman. His glasses were crooked. His lips were purple. He stood this far from me. He looked down at me with wine breath, said, Lou, never underestimate the power of greed.
That's 100%.
And there's
true.
your answer.
Yeah.
And it's been the answer for me when I see things going funny in real estate, and you see funny things in real estate.
Well, my favorite is when you're arguing
over
like the dumbest thing, you know.
Well, it gets down to nuance.
Somebody wants, I need this number, and like you're at this number, and you're like $500 apart, and that other person's like, I'm not giving you that $500 for anything. I'll let this deal walk.
That's right.
You're gonna let $1 million deal walk away.
No, what they do then is they look. I'm negotiating with Steve. He's a principal. I'm a principal, and we're 500 away. Then both Steve and me look over here to the broker. And they're like, all right, well, looks like you're paying the $500. That's what happens.
Yeah. But it's like, it's true.
Thanks for bringing it up, by the way.
I know, now Lou's all mad. But it's so dumb when you get down and it's like, well, I want bathroom access on this floor, and it's only my bathroom. And then like that becomes the sticky point.
We have a saying that if we leave a negotiation and both parties are a little bit PO'd, we did our job right. If one side's happy and one side ain't, that's not a good negotiation. Yeah. Both sides got to be a little bit chapped.
When they leave, like, it's like when I buy a car, I just go, I work the deal, and I go, okay, I'm not going to think about this deal ever again. Because I don't know if I got a good one or a bad one, but I'm not going to worry about it.
You got one, and there it is.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I got what I wanted. I'm happy with it. I don't care if anybody else considers it good or bad. We're moving on with our lives.
There we go.
But it's all that. But hey, let's take our break here, top of the hour, come back with Uncle Lou's segment. Really quick, I don't know if you have any. I'm not expecting.
Yes, I do. I got a whole list of basketball plays. We'll start my segment quick.
I was going to text you and ask you.
Yeah, no, we're going to go through my intro very quickly because we got games in the first one starts at 9:15.
Let's do the intro after this because, 9:15 is the first game.
Kentucky -3. That's the first game.
We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll talk college basketball first in case any of those games do wrap into that. And then we'll do your intro and get into the other stuff out there. So come on back, folks. Uncle Lou's coming up. Main event. 9:15 is TCU Ohio State here this morning. 9:40 Troy, Nebraska. South Florida Louisville at 10:30. High Point Wisconsin at 10:50 this morning. Siena Duke at 11:50. McNeese State and Vanderbilt at 12:15. North Dakota State, Michigan State at 1:05, and then it goes on from that. Hawaii, Arkansas at 1:25. Then the afternoon slate. Only reason I'm bringing that up, Uncle Lou's here. Before intros and everything, games start at 9:15. Give you guys an opportunity to look at this here. He's checked with everybody. He's got some stuff for us here on the basketball tournament.
Yeah, these picks are from not me. If they were from me, I would just simply tell you, take what I tell you and just bet the other side. You'll be a rich man, because this is not my sport. But I've got two guys that are buddies. Matt Humans at the network, who's very good. And then this crazy mad doctor that hires me for his football contest. Yeah. He's a talker, man. And he's been telling me for a couple of years how good he is in college basketball. I finally put him to the test last few days.
Last Thursday he only missed one game.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, the guy's been white hot.
Lou, I put $5 on each game you told us.
And you won money.
I lost only one game.
I'm telling you, he's good. And I now know that he talks to a big shot at the Circa. And when that big shot comes on VSIN, half of the picks he's spewing are from this guy. And this guy didn't know that. I had to tell him that. He wasn't happy about it. Anyway,
he's taking credit. He's taking credit for
this doctor he's a complete whack job. He's completely, but man, is he good in college basketball. So I'm going to give you all the positions he gave me. I'm going to ask you to go easy, have fun with this. Don't get in trouble betting a sport you don't know, especially when they're not my picks or not. But I will say I have confidence giving them out. So here, there's two 9:40 games and a 10:30 game. So there's the early bracket. Troy plus 12.5 against Nebraska at 9:40. Now, that's a big game because Nebraska's never won an NCAA basketball game. I know that because I'm from Nebraska.
And they're big favorite. I can tell you this, on DraftKings, they're 13.5 point favorites
right
now.
So shop it around. Please, if you're betting these games, you should have 2 or 3 different places where you can search for lines to get the best one.
So watch the lines.
So Troy plus the points, if you can get 13.5, the more the merrier. That's the first one at 9:40. The next one at 9:40, and I don't know who Akron plays, but it's Akron plus 8.5. Or shop around. It could be 8, could be 9. But Akron plays also at 9:40. They're a position. And
I think they're tomorrow. They could be tomorrow.
Yeah, I went down looking at time. Are they tomorrow?
They might. Yeah, they're not on today's slate.
Okay, so Akron shelved till tomorrow.
What'd you say that Akron was what? Plus
8.5.
That's 8, okay.
Here's one I know is today. And this one is a very, very public position, but my guy's unwavered. He and so is Humans. They're like, hey, sometimes you pick a side that everybody's on. You just ride it. You're not going to get, okay, South Florida plus... That's either 3.5 or 5, depending where you're shopping.
A lot of people are on South Florida.
Oh, everybody, their mama on South Florida. Well, that's because Louisville. I even know this because this whack job doctor has broken down the handicap for me 10 times. I'm so sick of hearing it.
Here's the interesting thing on that one. I went Louisville because everybody's on South Florida.
Yeah, that's pure contrarian. The problem is Louisville got this guard, was supposed to come back, and he's a big contributor to the team. Well, he ain't coming back. He ain't playing today. That's why you went from 5.5 to 4.5. Yeah. As well, the South Florida coach, this game is in Buffalo. South Florida coach used to coach in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. He's bringing his team back to the place he used to coach against Louisville. There's a lot of reasons why he likes this. I could give you a 15-minute dialogue just from listening to this doctor tell me this handicap 20 freaking times.
All the big-time all the guys picking brackets that are follow, like Jay Billis and those guys, they all are heavy on South Florida.
Yeah, so, grain of salt. I've bet all of these that I'm giving out. Then there's one at 125. Then you get a break. You can watch these 3 games or 2, however many are today. Then
16 total today.
You go to 125 today, and you got Hawaii plus 15.5. Don't know who they're playing. Could care less. Arkansas. So Hawaii is the mid team. Now we're going to go, and again, Steve, some of these could be Sunday games.
You said go with Hawaii?
Go with Hawaii plus the 15.5.
Yeah.
So, not Sunday games. Some of these could be Friday games.
Yes.
But
Yeah, that's fine.
here's the list for the afternoon stuff. I always break my stuff down into time zones so I know what I want to bet early and then roll it into a next game, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So here's a 350 today or Friday. Clemson plus 2.5.
That one's tomorrow.
Okay. University, that's got to be Central Florida, plus 5.5.
UCF, yes.
That's 425 today. Texas, plus 2.5.
UCF is tomorrow as well, just so everybody knows. I know that.
Okay, how about Texas? They today?
Texas is tomorrow. I'm sorry. No. Texas has BYU. That's today. Sorry.
Texas plus
that's
2.5.
425, yeah.
That's at 425.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa at 610. They today?
Northern Iowa, that one, I don't think so. No, it is not.
Okay, how about A&M?
Texas A&M, yep. St. Mary's?
Yep, plus 3.5. A&M, that's 635. Then Miami minus 1.5.
Really? Miami?
Yeah.
I'm going Missouri.
So those Friday games, Northern Iowa, Central Florida, Clemson, yeah. I mean, write those down for tomorrow. Even better, because I can tell you what, I've got 4 bets already. I'm only betting 2, maybe 3 at the most this afternoon because I'm not betting any sport with 5, 6, 7 bets in one day. I just don't do
you
that.
don't do it.
So
I'm glad to see you're not picking anybody with 30-point favorites and odds and stuff like that. Because all the good teams are like 30-point. Like today, Michigan's a 30-point favorite. I see somebody go with Howard to cover that 30. And I'm like, no, who's recommending that?
Hey, I don't know the sport. I filled out a bracket in 16 seconds, and there's not one.
Yeah.
There's not one number one in the Final Four.
On the bottom there, you had Clemson plus 2.5, UCF. I think they're plus. They're close. They're
5.5.
5.5 there. Then you had Texas plus 2.5.
Yes, sir.
What was after that?
Northern Iowa 9.5.
That's right, Northern Iowa.
A&M plus 3.5, and Miami minus 1.5.
Yeah, right there. And then
So there, those are Dr. Feelgood's.
Just curious. I'm just going to keep track
positions.
of it.
No, we should. It's a fun endeavor. You know, he's made a believer out of me, so I'm going to dilly-dally around with some of these. And these are small ham sandwich bets for me because if I'm not working the sport, I'm not putting any real money in it. Even though I trust this doctor. Oh, it's more than fun. Right. I mean, I want to win, but it's not a lot more than fun.
Yeah, I just sit back and watch this. I'll put money on a few games. I just sit back and try to enjoy the day coming up here. At 9:15, 10 minutes we're away from a game I'm really looking forward to, TCU and Ohio State coming up to start this morning. It's going to be a fun game there from South Carolina between those two. And I do have TCU winning this game. Right now they're 1.5-point dogs as of right now.
Yeah, to me, what's fun is by the time I get home this afternoon, you throw the TV on, and I just go to the game with the fewest minutes left.
Yeah.
2 minutes here, that's what I'll watch, and hopefully it's a barn burner. Then you go to the other game, 4 minutes left there. To me, I'd rather get poked in the eye with a flaming hot needle than watch the first half of any basketball game. Oh, my God.
They change a lot, don't they?
My God. Why don't they just play 4 minutes?
Yeah, at the end. I know. That's what they do. The NCAA is not as bad as the NBA is. When you go into the fourth quarter and somebody's got a 20-point lead, and then with 2 minutes to go, it's a 3-point lead, and it's close, and you're like, really?
No, NBA. I won't even bring in my buddies that work the NBA's picks to share them. That's how much I have disdain for the NBA.
On that, so we got them in there for you guys. Lou and his friends. We'll call them Lou and friends.
Dr. Feelgood.
Lou passing that along for everybody. That's some fun. Look, it's exciting to get started here today, and I don't care. Like I know you're not a big basketball fan, and for me to sit down and watch hours on end of sports is rare, and this is just one of those days and one of those weekends that I just enjoy, just beyond belief here coming up, just with the excitement that can happen. And it's all based off of the premise of major upsets, close games, game-winning shots with a second to go. That's what I live for coming up here. So.
May I ask in your bracket who you have in the final game and who wins?
I have Florida and Arizona. So does Dale, by the way. And then I have Arizona winning it all. So does Dale.
Arizona ain't even making the Final Four.
All right, so here's my problem, Lou. I'll just tell you what happened. I know you don't follow this.
I'm a U of A grad, people, okay?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I can't help but see it.
This is what
as
U
a
of A
mercenary.
people do. There's some negative on their team. But no,
have you studied or tracked the history of Arizona in the big tournament?
Believe me, look. I went with Arizona because I think 3 out of the 4 number ones, no more than 3 out of the 4 number ones will make it to the Final Four. I think it's going to be a chalky tournament on that perspective. But I already know Duke's going to lose to UConn or Michigan State in that bracket. I know Florida's going to win that bracket, at least I'm thinking. And I know Michigan's not going to make it out of the Midwest. So I already have 2 teams, 2 number 1 teams losing. So I was like, I can't go against Arizona.
I don't have a 1 in mind. And why would I do that? I do it because when you put in these pools, I got a little family thing that the Gamblu put the prize money up, and so all my little nephews and nieces are in it. And I have Illinois beating Purdue. Illinois, Purdue, Iowa State, and who's up there in the bracket with on the top left? Somebody down there, another one. But I don't even remember. I filled it out in 16 seconds. But I'm looking to go where no one else is going.
That's what you do.
And I can tell you, there's very few people got Illinois winning this whole thing. But they're big, they're strong.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a swoon late. I like where they're set up, and we'll see. I always will tell you that when I enter these pools with my bracket, I always check to make sure that when I enter, somebody's got a booby price for last prize. You know why? Because I usually get it based on my strategy.
Yeah, Illinois. I have Illinois going to the 16. They lose to Houston in the round of 16.
Yeah, I got them beating
North
somebody.
Carolina and stuff to get to that point. But no, that's why this is so much fun. And people think that the college football playoffs is going to be similar to this with that excitement, and it's just not going to be. But
they're going to have to start it at Thanksgiving if they want to be done by April, for Christ's sakes.
So, Lou, we got that out of the way here.
Yes, sir.
Let's do the introduction.
Okay.
Because we're in London, O2 Arena this weekend, which means we will inevitably pick up a lot of people listening to this program here today from that side. We always do. So, introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Yes, so I'm Gamblu. I'm Lou Finicaro. My webpage and presence in the world of sports investment is Gamblu.com. I've been doing it a long time. I'm happy to have a legitimate professional webpage. This week's fight blog is up. If you look at the top band across the webpage, that's where anybody that needs to kill 10 minutes can go to find out everything about me. And so really what I do is give advice, and most of it free. All of it's free this year. Everything that I do is available either via Twitter or that webpage to get the positions that I invest in. And we're talking College World Series coming right up, NHL playoffs a month away, NFL, UFC going on right now. So you can find all that right there. But on that top band, far right, San Xavier Del Bac Mission, south of Tucson, the oldest mission in the United States. They're doing great work down there with the community south of Tucson, between Nogales and Tucson, and mostly South Tucson. And Steve lets me highlight the great work they're doing in this outstanding institution that is San Xavier every week. I have a link direct to their webpage on my webpage, and I would invite anyone to go and check it out. And if you're so inclined, even make a contribution. But we do that regularly through the year there, based on the fact that we're fortunate enough to be doing what we love. And so you got to give back a little. Nothing better than giving back to something that's as indigenous to Arizona as the oldest mission in the country. Thank you, Steve.
Especially with what's happening in the economy, and people are starting to struggle out there and have been for a little bit. So if you're able to, I like to promote that out there. And like I said, take some of that seediness out of what you do, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, in a world of bury your man and 100-star specials, I mean, fortunately...
Call 1-900-722.
Bury your
I'll
man.
give you a pick.
Bury your man. I mean, I mean, those... I laugh at that because that's what I grew up with. It was so funny. But anyone searching for a legitimate sports investment resource now, you have a lot to choose from. And if you want someone in a particular sport, you have Uncle Lou to just lou@gamblu.com. Yep. Ring me up. I'll give you 3 or 4 guys for whatever sport you want. If it's a sport I work, I'll give you a couple other guys in UFC really good. Kyle Hunter is good, and Y2 Casey on Twitter, really good. I share information with them all the time. So if you want resources, email me up. I'm here to encourage people. I'm here to help people and try and get you don't bet 10 positions and go 6-4 and barely make money. Bet 2 or 3 and go 2-3 and win a little bit.
Or with the 13-1 week last week, you would have lost a lot of money if you were betting dogs last week, in terms of that UFC fight. 13-1 favorites.
13-1, and if we're going to segue into the UFC, I go 0-3, but I'm betting dogs. Yeah. Okay, and I know that the favorites are running 75%. So 2 of my dogs are just half unit bets. So 3 bets, I lose 2 units, but 2 bets were 1 unit bets. One was Robertson, and one was another winner. I'll tell you right here because Steve's got me trained to bring in last week's paper. One was Jillian Robertson, and the other one was Jose Delgado. That we took both of those favorites and pooled them into somebody upcoming in this week's fight card and following that is also a favorite. Now we have, and we'll talk about it when we get to this week's card, a favorite in this week's card we've converted into an underdog because of the parlay use. Nice. So I've set the table a little bit, despite the fact I went 2 units backwards with 3 picks.
And don't forget, Sunday night, Monday morning, check out Sneak Teep Podcast. Of course, all your favorite podcast systems on gamblu.com as well. And then on Friday after the weigh-ins, when are the weigh-ins this week with London? Thursday night?
2 a.m. Tonight. Or tomorrow morning,
Friday
2
morning,
a.m.
Okay.
So that works great for me because I'm in bed at 8:15. I'll wake up, watch an hour of that. I'll know what I need to know, go to bed. I'll get up, do the podcast in the morning. And I appreciate Steve always mentioning the podcast.
Check that out.
I always fail to do
Nuggets.
But the Sneak Teep had 3 releases this week for this week's card if you're listening.
Yeah, so tune into that because he kind of gives you the look ahead here on Mondays.
And one last thing. I get on the podcast, the Sneak Teep and the Bout Business, Australians, Germany, a lot of Canada, and some South America. And so any of you that are regularly listening to the Sneak Teep or the Bout Business that ever want to reach out, please don't hesitate to do so. I'm so flattered that we have New Zealand and Australian listeners, European listeners. It's really exciting. Now, I'm probably only getting 250 or 260 pops on each podcast each week, but I'm not in this to try and make millions. I'm not trying to sell coffee cups or swag. I'm dealing with simply people that are focused on gambling on the UFC. And to me, that's great response. And Steve helps with that. So thank you.
Absolutely. So check it out. As well from there. So, well, before we get into the actual UFC last week and then into this week, college baseball is getting into some conference play stuff now and everything. When do you actually start delving into college baseball and setting up the College World Series?
A week or 2 weeks before the conference is in. Now, I've told you I don't look at baseball till the conference play starts. Yeah, well, I'll be looking at it, but I won't be betting it. I won't make a bet until we get to probably May sometime when we're getting close to conference tournaments. Then I might put 1 or 2 out there. Now, if you go back 5 or 6 blogs on gamblu.com, you're going to get a list of 6, maybe 5, 6 teams that I've already chosen for the College World Series. And I just looked at the top 20 now. Every one of them's planted right in there. So you might want to go back and find that. If you can't find it, lou@gamblu.com. I'll be happy to share it with you. So,
absolutely.
So really, I am starting now to really put my time and effort into hockey. And as I spend the next 6 weeks on hockey, that kills me enough time to get closer to College World Series. And I'll bet the regionals, the super regionals, and the tournament, not regular season. There's a group of guys out there that do great coverage of college baseball. They're called the Baseball Insiders, young guys enthusiastic. That's all they do. They do a great job, but they can't wait to start betting baseball, and they're getting their asses kicked on it because they're betting too many games too early. They didn't do any research. I've learned after 40 years of this, it never hurts to watch a little bit and then maybe make a position then.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of hockey, we've talked about it. We got playoffs coming up, 3 weeks or so. I get confused on the time frame here, but because they spread out there. It's when is it?
April 19th, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah, about a month now. So
I got about a month because I'm looking at. I got to go to Sling to get all the coverage so I can watch every game. Yeah. So that's how I know.
We talk about it leading up to it here. I mean, everything's pretty much what it was before. Penguins are making a run right now.
Buffalo's risen to the top above Tampa.
Yeah, by 4 points now as well. Yeah. Stayed up there. Last week they had got above them. But Buffalo's on a 2-win streak right now. Moving on, but Pittsburgh Penguins have showed themselves over there in the Metropolitan.
And if you look at Pittsburgh in that Eastern Division, Steve, if you look over there to goals given, meaning goals against,
210.
And pretty low. But Pittsburgh's a team that I've got an eye on.
But they also 235 points, goals for. So
I don't even give a shit about that.
Yeah, but you don't. All right. Yeah,
no,
that's all right.
I don't. I don't care if you can
score. They do score as well, and they have a low number on that.
From the goal out. Yeah. Okay, so the teams I'm going to choose, all you got to do is just look down there. I mean, the first one that sticks out like a strobe light is Colorado, because not only do they score, they don't let nothing in.
Yeah, they have 98 points. They're going to hit 100 points here pretty quickly.
So it's somebody going to have to beat Colorado, and and the team that hoists the cup isn't going to be a tiptoeing, a tape-to-tape, wide-open offensive unit. No, it's not. It's going to be a team that plays from the goal out, meaning they got a goaltender, they got a blue line, and can they score goals? I don't know, because I don't care.
I love the passion. Colorado right now goals against 172.
That's an obscene number.
Nobody's close to them.
It's obscene.
They're plus 78 in the differential, which is an amazing thing. But everybody else is pretty equal. We've talked about that every week here. So you kind of said it before we came in here. You take Colorado out of this, and it's kind of an open playoffs on both sides on who can do it, who can dominate there. So it's going to be fascinating.
It's going to be a great tourney.
Vegas is running themselves back into the Pacific here. They're gone on a winning streak, but I agree with you. They need a complete rebuild coming up. But the Ducks are a surprising team this year. The Mammoth are going to make it. Seattle are going to be close. We're kind of battling it right now with the Kings with their coaching change. I find it interesting. Kings changed their coach. And not that they're playing 100% better, but they are winning more games than they were before.
That's a team
just with the head coach change.
That's a team designed for the playoffs, and they seem to draw Edmonton every year in the first round. If they can avoid that, they could have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be fun to watch. We got teams that traditionally were playoff teams that have disappeared for a while, like Detroit, like you said, Buffalo before, and they're. I know Boston Bruins make the playoffs a lot, but they're still in contention there to get in there with the Islanders and Hurricanes. So I think it's going to be one of those open season. Then it'll just be who can knock off Colorado.
Let's just try and get at least 2 or 3 Canadian teams in there. I'm not I'm a hockey fan, and it's good for hockey to have some Canadian teams.
Only
in the
one
playoffs.
so far is Montreal.
The shame.
Toronto's doing not
the curl up.
And then obviously Edmonton's getting there. But the kid from here, Austin Matthews, shut down for the year. They're not going anywhere, obviously. But, yeah, it's Edmonton, and it's only Edmonton and I just said them.
It's Edmonton and Montreal with an outside shot
only
that
2.
Winnipeg could slip in.
Yeah, only 2 that are getting in there this year, so it'll be interesting to see it from that side. So, Lou, let's talk about last week's UFC now. Anything you want to add on any of the other stuff we've talked about before we move to the UFC?
Well, great time in sports. Also, we've got the World Cup soccer tournaments coming up in a month or so, and I know zero about soccer. I do watch the World Cup, though. I find it fascinating. I love the tournament, and I do have a nephew that was an all-American soccer player in Iowa, and he's in my business now. and he still follows it close. So I will be talking to him as we get close to World Cup, and I'll have a couple suggestions for the World Cup when we get there too.
Absolutely perfect. Hey, last week, Apex fight there in Las Vegas. A couple interesting fights that did happen. Wanted to ask you about as well. A lot of early ending fights here coming up, or that I was surprised by here in this one. For instance, it went to the decision unanimous, but Chris Curtis went out there against Orlabi. I thought this was a fairly good fight there, but your opinion change at all on little stocky Chris Curtis there?
No, and after the fight, he's like, it's hard to fight a guy that doesn't want to be in a fight. Yeah. And he's dead ass right.
Yeah.
And Orlabi is a vice grip wrestler. And if you watched that fight, you can see that Orlabi or anyone that fights like him, we have one this week in the main event. Those are the kinds of fighters that are rapidly, immediately being discharged, discounted, and segregated against in the UFC because there's no action, and that's all they do is take people down. Those fighters are getting shelved, stiff-armed, and moved off to the side because the UFC and Paramount wants action. Now, when we get to this week's card, I'll take that another step.
Parlay that into that. Sousa Oki fight also. Sosa did get the win here in this one, round 3 KO. I just wanted to ask you about Oki in this fight.
Oki was a guy I was high on.
Yeah.
We didn't bet him. I suggested him on Monday in the sneak teep. I liked Oki a lot in this. But at the end of the day, this Sousa finished him impressively. Sousa is somebody to watch out for.
That's what I'm going to ask you next. Because the lightweight bout there, you had that heavyweight fight, Steven Asplund and Petrino.
Yep.
And this one, I think you kind of nailed Asplund. Not a physically imposing guy, not somebody you look at and go, this guy's going to dominate.
I handicapped that fight completely perfect, except for one thing. I had the wrong winner. Well, we went down with Asplund.
But you got to give credit to Petrino, man. Asplund is one of those fighters where he's just doing his thing, and then a punch will come, and you saw Petrino just back out a little bit, kind of shocked that it probably hurt as bad as it did. It was kind of amazing to watch that fight where Asplund, I guess, can kind of surprise you a little bit with that. A unanimous decision to Petrino there, but Asplund, it went, like you said, I was like, Lou nailed that fight completely.
Well, except for the winner. And Asplund fought his heart out. I mean, he would have been there 15 rounds. You're not getting rid of him. The issue is that Petrino's got UFC experience on him, a little faster, a little quicker, straighter with his shots. Asplund will learn a ton from this, and he will improve greatly between now and his next fight. It'll be interesting to see who each guy gets next. They've already announced a fight for Petrino. I forget who it is. But Asplund's got a few stitches to get correct. We'll see what happens.
I mean, he opened up underneath his eye pretty quickly.
With these white boys, you sneeze on them and they open up, man.
But I enjoyed that fight as well in the card. Charles Johnson, Bruno Silva. Johnson get that split decision. I wanted to ask you more about Silva on this side. Is it impressive he made it to that decision with the way that they fought?
I actually scored the fight for Silva.
Yeah.
A lot of people I heard use the word robbery. I don't know that I can go that far.
I don't know if the crowd booed, but they were upset about it as well.
I think Silva, if they'd have raised Silva's hand, I would have had no problem with it. Charles Johnson is so uneven. Again, depending on who each fights next, I could tell you if it's a fade or a follow.
Yeah, and then Rahiki Hardwick, only question on this is, a second round, a KO at the they stopped that fight, I guess I should say. Man, I got to give a ton of credit to Hardwick. It was, even the announcers mentioned it. They thought his jaw was broken, the way his mouth was open and moving and stuff like that. I had to call it because of that at the end. But he could take some shots, and he was fighting with a broken jaw in that second round, ended up calling it. Does that change your opinion with Rahiki at all? Because the way the fight had to be called? Or is he just a hard hitter and good guy moving forward?
Well, we'll see. Rahiki, I need more info on, but he looked good. He was faster, straighter. Hardwick was as tough as nails and was game and willing. But, man, you break a jaw like he did, and then you go forward in a fight and you're taking shots. You could see his mouth was hanging open. You mentioned it.
Yeah.
I mean, you tip your hat to these guys. Then afterwards, they hug each other, go take a shower, and go out and have a beer.
My favorite part is Hardwick's jaw's broken, and they go to the ring thing, and then he goes to a silent. He goes, my jaw's broken. I can't, He pulls the guy aside, doesn't want to announce it, and then the refs find out, so they have to stop it. And then he's just chatting away. Oh yeah. Oh, it sucks, whatever. And I'm like, stop talking. Your jaw's broken.
Yeah. Well, believe me, as soon as the adrenaline wears off a half hour later and they're in there fixing that thing, it's like the cartoons. Wah, 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 wah.
You got Delgado and Feely in this one. Of course, Delgado from MMA Lab, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I scored the fight for Feely. I don't want to let my friends at the lab know that, but I thought Delgado was lucky to get his hand raised there. Feely showed me more than Delgado did.
Now, Feely's more experienced in the UFC. Do you think
and 35?
And do you think it came down to that? A little bit of inexperience with Delgado?
No, I think it came down to Feely being totally prepared and ready as a new child at home. He's focused, and he's got all that experience, and he brought his best effort, and it took Delgado's best effort to overcome Feely's best effort.
Now, I'm going to bring up the women's co-main event here because Robertson and Lemos
I'm
here.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, because I enjoyed this fight. Shocking. There was a fight earlier where the women fight ended in a knockout, or I think it was, right, or something, earlier in the fight. But Robertson and Lemos for a co-main event fight. I actually enjoyed this. Ended up being a unanimous decision here. Does that change your opinion on Robertson at all with that win?
No, she's a fade to me. She's undersized. She's singularly dimensioned. She's, tout. I've won 6 in a row. Yeah. I'm next for the belt.
She's very high on that.
She wants Dern. Dern will tie her into a pretzel. Dern's next fight's going to be against Weili Zhang. We have, and you can get on DraftKings right now, champion in the ladies flyweight division. Champion in the ladies strawweight division, 115 pounds at the end of the year. Weili Zhang plus 125. Run, don't walk.
Take that one as well.
Run, don't walk.
Yeah, I was surprised at the confidence of Robertson. I mean, she fought good, and I enjoyed the dynamic between these two. But man, she's one cocky son of a gun after that fight. It kind of cracked me up a little bit.
Hey, good for her. She's trying to. She understands that you need to be vocal and colorful in order to get to the championship or get to a money fight.
She was colorful
in today's UFC. So, but I don't think she has it.
Doesn't have it. All right. And then Emmett Vallejos. Man, I'm just disappointed in my old man Emmett. Man, let us old men down here in this fight. There's a huge age difference here and everything. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But round 1 knockout here for Vallejos.
And my biggest change from last year to this year was this year I wasn't taking any older fighters, and I've done really good with it. I stayed away from Gaethje when I liked him earlier in the year, and he won against Patty. No problem. Because if you don't bet it, you can't lose it. But I did take Emmett. It was only a half a unit at plus 410. I sure thought he'd show better than that. Emmett's washed. He's gone. Vallejos is a fade, and we wait and see who he fights next.
That's what I was going to ask you. Vallejos looked extra strong because of who he was fighting. Yeah, Emmett. To me, it just looked like Emmett. He lost that fight before it even started. Just walking.
Well,
he
felt the power.
Is that what it was?
He felt the power.
But it doesn't change your opinion on Vallejos. He goes against a more ready person in that featherweight area, and
if he goes against a guy going to stand wide stance and slug with him, then Vallejo may be the side. But if he just gets in with anybody that's got some movement, some length, and some wrestling, then I'm probably on the other side.
Yeah, maybe Emmett's problem is he shaved that beard off, so maybe that was his problem. He's like Hercules.
Emmett's problem is he's 41 at 145 pounds.
I will say this: it was shocking. See, because I kind of agreed with you that Emmett, in his experience, would be able to go long into this fight. So I actually took the over 3.5, thinking not necessarily that he'd win, but he'd be able to stand in there long. But it was early on where you're like, nope, Emmett has nothing to do with this young kid.
Yeah, Vallejo sneezed on him and Emmett curled up.
It was very easy to see early on. So when we come back here, we'll get into this week's fight. Fighting for lunch, folks. Blood and lunch this week is what we'll call it. 1 o'clock main card here from London this weekend. We'll get into this weekend's fights. Come on back. It's the main event.
I'm talking contract.
I know.
We're having contract
He's
negotiations.
throwing that out right there at this moment and everything. So, Lou, thanks for coming in today.
That's it. See you later.
Of course, we're talking UFC with Uncle Lou here. From the O2 Arena this weekend, we've seen favorites. You said earlier 75. I see in your blog 77, but obviously in that range where favorites are winning here earlier. I see a lot of people online, whether they're bettors or not, just complaining about these fight cards as well and how they're matching up. And it to me, it also feels like it's a lacking fight card. Like I just get bored in the middle of them, which never happened before. So I do find it an interesting dynamic that's happening on these cards coming up. Of course, obviously, when you bet dogs, it's a terrible thing to have happen. Favorites come your way.
It is, and you have to balance the line of being. You can't be stubborn. You know, I'm not just picking 5 dogs. If you can see, last week I had a couple parlays using favorites. I have to. If you look at my blog this week on the Gamblu.com webpage, couple favorites. I mean, if you can't be stubborn, and yet my platform is to try and derive profit from live underdogs in the UFC. So I'm going to still try, but I may have to manipulate how my releases look until we can see some regression to the mean, meaning normally the dogs in the UFC, I should say favorites in the UFC, run 63.5%. At 77%, it's making it tough. So when is regression? I wish I knew because I could jump on it right away. But I think I like a couple underdogs in this card. We're going to take a, measured approach to it. But I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm down like 6 units so far. The bow business is 10 and 19, minus 6.4 units. But I'm ahead. I'm, 53%. That's ahead of the 23% that dogs are realizing in the UFC. So you can see I've adjusted by taking a few favorites. We're going to have to play the shell game and be patient until I can find a little bit of a run of underdogs and we can get that 6.4 back.
Absolutely. Now, this isn't a numbered event. It's UFC Fight Night here from O2 Arena, but lots of, 13 fights on this card, I believe?
13 fights. O2, Steve's mentioned a few times. That's in London, England. These fights start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is perfect because I have out-of-town guests coming in. We have a dinner at 6:30 tonight.
Are you ready for that?
Saturday night, which is perfect because I'll be able to watch my whole fight card, then go to dinner with my friends. That never happens on it.
Now, will you be happy or will you be grumpy when that dinner comes? Is the only question
I'll
we
be
got.
happy because the business is one thing. And
so we start off this fight with an England and a Brazilian fighter here. Well, let me ask you this first. A lot of England fighters on this fight and from that area. Obviously, they stack it from that side. But our first couple fights, I see a lot of Brazil-England fights, Australian-England fighters, and to that effect here. Do we see a lot of big different styles here coming up this weekend?
We see 9 fights where Englishmen fight someone that has to travel into England to fight them, advantage the hometown person. There's one fight where 2 English fighters are fighting one another. No real advantage there. 6 fights at 170 or above, so you can see they populated the card with some big boys trying to get us some violence there. And we're going to have a full crowd, and I think it should be a good fight card. Now, we do understand that when they're in England and they populate the card with a bunch of English fighters, that chances are some of those English fighters, if not all, are going to get manicured or hand-picked matchups in order to allow the UFC to continue to export its brand in that particular region. So I'll be very cautious about which English fighters I fade, and I'll be aggressive in trying to find a few English fighters that I think will do well.
Pick on the other side. Starts off with 2 women fights here, bantamweight and a strawweight fight. Anything with these 2 fights to pay attention to, Lou?
Sandwich time. Luana Carolina fights this girl Mullins from England. Mullins is 2-2 in the UFC. Can't wrestle a lick, but her last 3 competitions have been in the grappling arena, which means she knows she has to address it. This fight opened Mullins minus 150. She's now an underdog. Carolina shouldn't be a favorite over anybody. This is a pillow fight. It goes to decision. We'll go to the next fight, Ravenna Oliveira against Chanel Dyer. Dyer's an English fighter. She's been set up for this fight. Ravenna 0-2 in the UFC, but you can see by the price on Chanel, the English fighter, that she's minus 400 or so.
485 right now.
Yeah, she's 5 years the younger gal at 24. She's coming off a loss in the Contender. I mean, anybody betting these first two fights, you hate money.
Both to the decision, most likely. Anybody have finishing power? Can we be surprised?
Evimini, no.
Just asking.
No.
For the watches. It was kind of nice last week logging in, and I logged in and then saw that, and then I was a finish, and I was like, oh, look at that.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah, so it was interesting to see. Then you got some guy named Shamrock against Abdul Kareem El Sawadi. Here in this fight, El Sawadi is a minus 125 favorite against Shamrock.
Yeah, El Sawadi fighting out of Dallas now. He Shamrock, a Liverpoolian, that's fighting out of Ireland. Rock is 3 inches the taller guy, a lefty. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. And El Sawadi's been off since 2024. That's a long time. So I've seen the money line come towards Rock a little bit, the local fighter. I tend to agree with it and think he might be worth a stab at a plus price.
The how much? What did this fight open up at?
It opened Shamrock plus 160. Now he's plus 105. So
yeah, it's a big money.
Seen a little money come into the English fighter. That's not a surprise. That should be a trend on most of these fights.
Yeah, then you got Sutherland, Perisic, here an Australian fighter there, Brando, and everything. He's a 250 favorite coming into this prelim fight. Heavyweight bout, by the way.
Yeah, over the Englishman Louis Sutherland. You'd think that I'd like Louis Sutherland, but he's Louis Sutherland slower than Louis Finocchiaro. That's saying something.
Over under on this, by the way, 1.5 to the under minus 135.
Yeah, this
knockout quick.
Yeah, this is the Aussie knocking out Louis Sutherland.
Yeah, but the minus 250 favorite here for those two guys. Montes, I'm not even going to try to say that. Antonio Trocoli here, Brazilian fighter, Lithuanian fighter. I apologize to the Mantis family for
Kondra Tavicius. This fight here is 185 pounds. Kondra Tavicius, the Mantis, is 11 years the younger guy. He's shorter, going to be given away reach. Trocoli, 0-3 in the UFC, all stops. He's there to make Mantis look like a praying mantis.
The minus 800 right now for Mantis here in that fight. Then you got Mario Pinto, Felipe Franco, Portugal, Brazil here. Portugal's close enough to London. Can get some home cooking here.
Yeah, and he's the legitimate UFC fighter. Franco, coming in from Brazil, has teeter-tottered between heavyweight and light heavyweight. His last fight was light heavyweight, so now he's going to go from 205 in his last fight to fight a guy in Pinto that'll weigh in at 266. I'm intrigued by this fight, but Pinto's the legitimate heavyweight, and so I probably have to lean to him.
Yeah, minus 900. For him coming into this fight. What did that open up at a chance?
Minus 300.
Okay, so a lot of money on Pinto. Over under 1.5, minus 175 to the under here.
Minus 900. I would find some way to put a ham sandwich on Franco.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced he's a bum. I like the fact that he teeter-totters between two divisions. Surely, I mean, my feeling is that he's going to be the faster, quicker, more nimble fighter in this fight, but we'll see.
Then you got, that's a heavyweight. Then you go to a featherweight after that. Nathaniel Wood out of England, and then Kieta out of Belgium here.
Yeah, Keita is a Guinea from New Guinea, and he comes in on his debut, fast, powerful, a lot of hype. Got a 3-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage, 4 years the younger man, everything going his way. This fight opened a dead pick'em. Now Keita's minus
238.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's wrong. Nathaniel Wood is a grizzled vet. Nathaniel Wood deserves to be the co-main event on this fight card. Nathaniel Wood is getting overlooked. Nathaniel Wood's last fight, he was an underdog against Jose Delgado from the MMA Lab, and he won a decision that was earned, as far as I'm concerned. Wood is being overlooked here. I'll be on Wood.
They said something, and I don't expect you to know this off the top of your head, but they said something during the broadcast, the pre-broadcast last week, where fighters coming in their first fight, they're being heavily favored in the UFC this year, and they only have like a 20% or something small percent win range. The experienced fighters are winning those fights more. They gave a stat like that last week where it was overwhelmingly going to the new guys, and like you said, a debut here for Kieta as well here in this fight.
Yeah, it is, and that's my handicap, is I like the grizzled vet.
You made me think about that they said that, where it's just they're getting overbid and then they're losing a lot more than they're winning in that
Yeah,
side.
I mean, you take a contender series fighter stepping up, first fight, debut, lights, camera, action against a guy been 3, 4, 8 fights in the UFC. To me, if the veteran fighter is at a plus price, you have to look hard.
Then you got Mason Jones, Axel Sola here, France and Wales battling it out here. Last prelim fight here before the main card.
Yeah, this Sola comes in 6'2" as a 155er, so he's long, tall, drink of water. This kid, he's gonna have 4 inches of reach advantage, but it's his debut, and he's a French fighter. Immediately, when I think French fighter, I think an espresso as opposed to somebody that's tough and strong. Mason Jones is tough and strong. He's from Wales. This is his second stint in the UFC. He's got great wrestling. He's tough and durable. Mason Jones opens 250 in this fight.
Ooh.
And now he's down to what?
125, minus 125.
Minus 125. Something going on this fight. I don't know. It's Mason Jones or pass.
You think that's going to keep getting played up to where it could switch to Sola, where Jones gets a plus number, or is not going to go that far?
I don't think so.
Geez, that's a big.
I mean, it's at minus 125. Realizing he opened at minus 250, that is a plus number.
Yeah, well, that is for sure. The over under on this 2.5 minus 230. It's a lightweight fight, so decision most likely.
Mason Jones has some power, and this kid's a debuter. I lean to Jones here a little.
Perfect. On that, then you get to the main card. Curtis Campbell, Danny Silva battling out English and USA here.
I don't know enough about Curtis Campbell to make any real intelligent recommendations.
Is he a late ad here, or is he
but he's 23-year-old kid, and he's going to be he'll be 6 years the younger guy. But Danny Silva, I think, could be live because of his experience. This is a due diligence fight that I will watch.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is Curtis Campbell's picture looks like it was, shoved into their late, like they do a lot of times for fill-in fighters. But 238 favorite for Curtis Campbell there from England on that fight. Roman Dolidze and Leroy Duncan here battling it out here in the next one.
Yeah, Dolidze pivots between 205 and 185, and he is now 37 years old. He's strong, he's durable, he's tough. But in his last fight, we saw Fluffy Hernandez make him quit. And in Fluffy's last fight, we saw Sean Strickland make Fluffy quit. So Dolidze may be showing some of his age. He is a Georgian-Russian baker by trade. Great guy, great fighter, but I don't think he has anything for Christian Leroy Duncan, who's going to be 7 years the younger man, have a 3-inch reach advantage. Dolidze going to need to get inside tight, try and take CLD down to the mat. CLD, if he has any kind of space and distance and able to keep this fight on the feet, I think he's going to shred Dolidze.
Middleweight fight, so is there power to finish here, or Dolidze would have to, get him to tap out or something?
I think Christian Leroy Duncan can finish Dolidze because Dolidze is just a little slower, and he's going to have to be plodding forward to get inside, and he could run into one.
Over-under is 2.5, minus 130 to the over. It kind of caught my eye there with these middleweight guys battling.
The fight does not go the distance, maybe.
That one. Then you got... we'll call him Iwo. They're from Poland, and Austin Lane here from the United States battling it out here. Light heavyweight bout.
Iwo is a really unique-looking guy. If you look at him, he almost looks like he is a special person. And by special, I mean special. I don't know how else to say it. His ears,
don't get yourself canceled.
His ears are way down on his head. They're small. But this dude here...
He's got a big head.
I mean, literally, I could stand wide stance with a Louisville slugger and crack this dude right in the nose hard as I could. I don't know if he would blink. He can eat leather. He's tough as nails. He won't go away. He's determined, got tremendous power, and he gets Austin Lane. What's Austin Lane? Well, Austin Lane going to be 6'6". He's going to be 6 inches taller. He's going to have 7-inch reach advantage. He's an ex heavyweight fighter. So Lane is cutting from 245, 250 to get to 205 here.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
This is absolutely a setup fight for Baranowski.
Yeah.
And Baranowski's a Polish fighter, but this is a setup fight for him. This is designed to get knocked out. Lane's been knocked out. Baranowski eventually going to get to him here.
Yeah, it's a minus 800 favorite on the money line, but over under 1.5, minus 345 to the under. You don't see under numbers that
even
high.
KO. I bet via KO Baranowski's minus 250.
It's probably still negative for that fight there. So maybe a quick one here on that one. Then you got Michael Page and Sam Patterson, English, and Michael Page is from the U.S., right?
Page is an Englishman. This is the fight where the two Englishmen fight each other. They're both 6'3", so that's actually Page is 6'2". He's an inch shorter, but he's 11 years older at 38. Interesting thing is at 38, Page will be the faster guy, the more nimble guy on his feet, the more fluid guy, the more strike evasive guy. Patterson's going to try and come in and walk him down. If Page keeps this fight standing, and I think he will, he paints the fence on his way to a decision win.
Decision win, really, because over-under's 2.5, over is plus 105 right now. It's minus 135 to the under on Patterson right now. And we use DraftKings here on Thursday for the numbers.
Yeah, I lean over there.
Perfect. And then you got Luke Riley, Michael Aswell Jr. here, English, against Aswell, the American, battling this one out. Riley is a 258 favorite right now going into this fight.
Yeah, he opened minus 175. He should be minus 400. Luke Riley's a buy. Aswell's tough, strong, a Texan, going to make the fight. He's going right out to try and knock out Luke Riley, which is a prescription for potential death. Luke Riley is a up-and-coming English superstar backed by Paddy the Baddy, as well the UFC. This is a setup fight. This is why Nathaniel Wood didn't get the co-main event, because they want to highlight Luke Riley. Luke Riley probably via finish here.
And then really, that's for a featherweight fight on top of it.
Yes, sir.
For those,
Aswell's there to
guys.
be iced.
Yeesh. And then you've got the big main fight here. I knew I was going to screw this up.
Movsar Evloev against Lerone Murphy.
Yes, thank you. Evloev. I have practiced it for hours last night.
It ain't easy.
And then I see it on the screen, and I'm like, I know. Evloev.
Yeah, Evloev is one of the fighters that's been completely discriminated against. He is surely the top featherweight in the division behind Volkanovski, the champ. He's deserved a title shot for years, not months. Hasn't gotten it. The UFC hates his style because all he is a wrestling vice grip. Now, he knows that he has to be more exciting and that he's got to try and finish fights because he knows he's getting discriminated against. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's taken on Lerone Murphy, an Englishman, fighting in England, undefeated in the UFC. And the UFC hates Murphy as much as they hate Evloev. Why? Because Murphy is precision. He's cute. He's tight. He's a great boxer. He'll outpoint you, not necessarily power. Although in his last fight, he spun elbow over Aaron Pico. Maybe he violently knocked out a UFC debuter that came from Bellator or another organization and looked good to put him in this fight. The winner of this fight is the legit next challenger for Volkanovski, and they won't give him the fight. It's going to go to Jean Silva. So you got to understand here, doesn't matter what you do, the UFC is going to put on a fight that's going to draw people to seats. Doesn't matter how good you earned it, what kind of style you have. And meanwhile, Jean Silva, who's lost one of his last two fights, but he's exciting and a knockout artist, is going to step in front of these two guys to get the title because of the violence and the action.
So do you see a style changing here where somebody's trying to finish somebody to to spark it up because they know that, or is it just go fight your fight and whatever happens, happens?
I see Lerone Murphy trying to do everything he can do to get out of the grip of Evelev, and he won't be able to do it. Yeah, Evelev decision.
Evelev 250 favorite, and yeah, I mean over under 4.5, Lou, minus 345 to the over.
That's right. We're just gonna watch Evelev leg hump him for 25 minutes.
The more you're talking, the more I'm trying not to just straight out laugh at the over number here in this fight.
I'm just saying, not I wouldn't put it past Evelev to maybe submit him if you want to go for a long bomb, but I think it's going to be tough for Murphy to keep him off him. Listen, Evelev's last fight was against Aljamain Sterling.
Okay.
Aljamain Sterling is a fighter just like Evelev that the UFC hates because of his style. Evelev is the only featherweight in the whole world that would have beaten Sterling in that last fight. No one else would have. Sterling's a bad hombre. Evelev beat him.
And then it's amazing how you explained all that out there, and then you're like, this is the main event? Way to sell it, Lou.
Well, I'm sorry. It's an Englishman fighting in England. They're going to be all fired up. They'll have a few pints in them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a snoozer.
So the Riley Aswell Jr. fight
That'll be
with that knockout will be fun to watch as well on this fight. Look, daytime fighting, so if that last one is a dud, yeah, you could go out afterwards, right? 1 p.m. Phoenix time, 10 a.m. for the prelims. For this fight there from London as
Breakfast and beatdown, Steve.
I like these daytime fights.
Oh, I really like. It's like day holding hands. Every guy likes that.
So, Lou, I got a couple of texts from you talking about that one guy, though, saying he's special. A couple of people sent laughing emojis in to us here.
Well, I don't want to be cruel. Everyone has the dignity of being a great human being, but if you look at Iwo, especially if you watch him fight, you're going to think that the guy looks
bit like
the.
He's got a big head.
I'm trying to think who's the guy with the one eye on the Star Wars. He looks a little off.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I should shut up.
Joins the ball. As of now, he joins us every Thursday.
Hopefully I'm invited back next week.
9:00 as well. Appreciate you listening to us, of course. We'll get this up on demand on YouTube, Robat TV with your subscription. YouTube, of course. Free podcast systems out there. We'll get it out there, posted for everybody that does listen to it, separate of the show. We appreciate it very much. Lou will be back next Thursday. And, folks, main event back tomorrow morning. Pit Stop will be up today by 2 o'clock for you racing fans. As well on demand, YouTube podcasting system, and of course here at Robat TV. Coming up next, that'll be going, and then tomorrow morning we'll be back here. So everybody enjoy your Thursday night. Enjoy the basketball. TCU, Ohio State, battling it out right now as well. I do not have, and then Nebraska, Troy just started as well. So I don't have the actual scores here in front of me, but Lou, are you rooting for Nebraska in this game? Never won a conference.
I don't know enough. Because I'd like to see them win their first ever NCAA tournament.
Well, they're up 12-10 over Troy right now.
Stop the game.
31-24 TCU up over Ohio State right now. I do have TCU in that game. We'll see if it comes out, folks. We'll keep our eyes on that. Enjoy the basketball. Enjoy your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great Thursday.